Have you ever noticed that the moment you stand up and walk into another room, your cat somehow appears right behind you? You leave the couch, and within seconds, you hear soft footsteps following. You walk into the kitchen, and your cat is already waiting at the doorway, quietly watching. Then you move again, and somehow they arrive there too, almost as if they knew where you were going. At first, this behavior can feel a little puzzling. Many cat owners assume the reason is simple. Maybe the cat wants food, maybe they are asking for attention or hoping for playtime. And sometimes that is true, but very often, following behavior has much less to do with food or affection than people think. Instead, it reflects deeper behavioral patterns that shape how cats interact with the humans in their lives. To really understand why cats follow people around the house, we have to look at how cats experience their environment. Humans see a house as a place for comfort and daily activity, but cats experience it as a structured territory filled with signals, scents, and predictable pathways. Every room, every movement, and every routine becomes part of a mental map that helps them understand what is happening around them. So when a human suddenly moves through that territory, it becomes an event worth observing, and that leads us to the first behavioral explanation. Reason number 1 is territorial monitoring. Cats are naturally territorial animals. Even though most house cats now live indoors and no longer rely on hunting for survival, the instinct to monitor their territory is still deeply built into their behavior. In the wild, a cat must stay aware of everything that moves within its territory. Another animal entering the area, prey passing by, or even a small change in scent can carry important information. Ignoring movement could mean missing a threat or losing a chance to hunt. Inside your home, this instinct is still quietly active. Your cat is constantly observing the environment and tracking what is happening around them. When you stand up and walk into another room, that movement immediately becomes one of the most noticeable changes in their territory. To you, it is just a normal action. But to your cat, the most active member of the household has suddenly changed location. By following you, they are simply updating their mental map of the space and gathering information about what is happening nearby. Reason number 2 is attachment behavior. For a long time, people believed cats were completely independent animals that did not form strong emotional bonds with humans. But research over the years has started to show a very different picture. Many cats actually develop deep attachments to the people they live with. In some studies, this relationship even looks similar to the bond between young children and their caregivers. Scientists call this a secure base. It means the presence of a trusted person creates a sense of safety and emotional stability. When a cat sees you in this way, simply being near you can feel reassuring. They may not always demand attention or jump onto your lap, but they often prefer to remain within sight. That is where the following behavior begins to appear. By moving from room to room with you, the cat keeps that quiet sense of connection. They might sit nearby while you work, watch you as you move around the house, or rest in the same room without asking for anything. The purpose is not constant interaction. For many cats, the comfort simply comes from staying close to someone they trust. Reason number 3 is what we can call routine mapping. Cats are incredibly good at noticing patterns in daily life, and over time, they build a kind of internal schedule just by watching what happens around them. They learn when the lights usually turn on in the morning, they recognize the sounds that happen before food is prepared, and they remember the small sequence of events that often happens before bedtime. Because of this, cats are often able to anticipate things before they actually happen. For example, your cat might notice that when you walk into the kitchen in the early evening, food preparation sometimes follows. Even if it doesn't happen every single time, the possibility alone is enough to make that moment worth checking out. So when your cat follows you from room to room, they may simply be investigating whether one of those familiar routines is about to begin. This behavior helps them keep track of what's happening in their environment. For cats, predictability is very important. When their surroundings feel predictable, their stress levels stay lower and their nervous system stays more balanced. From your cat's point of view, following you is often just their way of staying in sync with the rhythm of the home. Reason 4 is simple curiosity about what you're doing. Cats are naturally curious observers, and their brains are built to notice even the smallest changes in movement, sound, or scent. Inside a home, humans are constantly creating little events without realizing it. Opening cabinets, moving objects, turning on the sink, using electronics, or even rearranging things on a table all create new sights and sounds. To a cat, these everyday actions can be surprisingly interesting. By following you around the house, they get the chance to investigate what's happening and understand how their environment is changing. This curiosity is often even stronger in indoor cats because they usually have fewer sources of stimulation than cats that spend time outside. In a quiet home, your movement might actually be the most exciting thing going on. That's why a cat may trail behind you from room to room or quietly appear wherever you go. It doesn't always mean they want attention or interaction. Very often, they're simply watching. You might see them sitting on the floor while you cook, calmly observing while you fold laundry, or staring with great focus as you type on a laptop. On the surface, it looks passive, but in their mind, they're collecting information. By observing your activity, they stay mentally engaged with the world around them and continue learning how their home environment works. Reason number 5 is resource anticipation. Following you around the house is not always about food, but resources still play a role more often than people realize. Cats are very good at learning where important things appear in their environment. Over time, they notice patterns. They learn where the food bowl is filled, where treats usually come from, where toys appear, and where the most comfortable resting spots are. These moments become connected to specific places and also to your actions. So when you start moving in a certain direction, your cat's brain immediately begins predicting what might happen next. Walking toward the kitchen might signal that food is coming. Sitting down at your desk could mean playtime if toys are often used there. Heading toward the bedroom may suggest that the house is about to become quiet and it's time to relax. The cat may not know exactly what will happen every time, but they recognize that some of your movements are sometimes followed by rewarding experiences. By following you, they simply make sure they stay close to those opportunities when they appear. Reason number 6 is social bonding. Beyond territory, curiosity, and routine, there is another important reason cats choose to follow people, and that is social bonding. While cats are often seen as more independent than dogs, many of them still form meaningful relationships with the humans they live with. When a cat consistently chooses to stay near someone, it usually reflects a sense of emotional comfort and familiarity. Social animals naturally adjust their behavior around individuals they trust, and staying close allows them to share the same environment and respond to the same cues. For a cat, this does not necessarily mean they want constant attention or interaction. Often, it simply means being in the same space. Your cat might lie quietly on the floor while you work, sit beside you on the couch without asking for anything, or rest near the doorway as you move from room to room. These quiet, everyday moments create a shared rhythm between you and your cat, and over time, that rhythm gradually strengthens the bond between human and animal. When all these factors come together, the behavior becomes clearer. Territorial awareness, routine, curiosity, and social bonding all play a role in why cats follow their owners. What looks like simple shadowing is actually a blend of instincts working together. For many cats, staying near you is not a demand for attention. It simply reflects how their world is organized. You have become a stable reference point in their environment. In the quiet language of cats, choosing to follow you often means one simple thing: they feel safe with you.